It's live, just working on the Unstoppable Tyrus. This is the same page I was working on yesterday. I didn't finish it because I took the day off from Memorial Day, which I don't do. That's the thing I'm learning about life, is to not be a workaholic. I think workaholism is based in fear. Hold on a second. And in the past, I would take any time off to do work, and I would beat myself up like, oh, you didn't get all this work done. And yesterday I was beating myself up for beating myself up, saying, you know what, go in the backyard, have the barbecue with your family, take your wife for a ride. We did a lot of fun, nice stuff, made a very relaxing day. Watched an interesting movie with my wife. Love Mel Gibson, and we watched Get the Gringo, where he went to this, he was a criminal, he'd robbed some gangster in San Diego, of all places, where we live. And then he went to a prison in Tijuana that was almost like a city. Like there was businesses in there, and some of the criminals had their families, their wives and kids, and it operated like a little city in this movie. And I looked up on the internet, it was like, is this real? Did this happen? And it said that the movie exaggerated a bit, but there was a detention center there that kind of operated like that. They shut it down in 2002. It reminded me of, in Hong Kong, Kowloon City, where you had this city that kind of, a runaway city that kind of had its own government, its own everything. And it was weird and corrupt, and the Kowloon City thing. You see it in Van Damme's first one, Bloodsport, and it's in other movies too. But yeah, so welcome in, hit the like, hit the share. I had a great Memorial Day yesterday with the family. Wife made some very good barbecue, and we ate good. We ate good. So. But yeah, I'm just inking up this page here. This is what I think, page 92. Yeah, 92. So we still have 33 of these to go, I think, something like that. 33 pages of the Unstoppable Tyrus. I should be done with it before Comic-Con in late July. So I thought I'd be done in about 3 weeks from now, but then I have a client that wants me to. I haven't freelanced in forever, and a person from the past has come to me about drawing a bunch of exciting stuff. We just had a phone meeting a minute ago. So I think I'm going to say yes to that, but it's not going to delay any of the books when they come out or get crowdfunded or anything like that. I'm obviously prioritizing my stuff, but going to do a good job for him and them. And it's right up my alley kind of stuff. It was really, really fun sounding things. So. Is there anything you got for me, Adrian?
Grant says hail at Gabe.
Hail, Grant. Hit the like, hit the share. Thank you for being here. We are very happy that you're here, and hope you enjoy watching this stuff. It's really a thrill to be able to bring it to you. It's weird making the art, like not weird, but it's like you're alone in your studio, you make whatever, and then eventually you release this thing out into the world, and then people have a whole other experience with it. And the experience you have is very personal. Working on art, it's funny. I'll look at a page or a drawing sometimes, and I can remember the day I worked on that page, or a song I was listening to when I was working on whatever page. And it's an interesting thing to have my personal experience with the art and then put it out there and watch people have their own experience with it. That's a very fascinating thing to me. So, but yeah, thank you all that I get to do this every day, and taking calls and signing contracts, and just continue to get to make great art. The next thing I think I've decided, I since I have all this freedom as the publisher, writer, artist of what I do here, sometimes you can fall into a trap of too many things, right? It's like when you're sitting there watching Netflix and you can't decide what to watch. I don't have Netflix. They're anti-American, so I don't give them money. But you know what I mean. You're watching streaming, and there's too many choices. So you can't pick, and then you sit there for an hour trying to pick, and you just don't pick anything. Then you just settle. As the publisher, sometimes I could fall into the trap of I want to do X, Y, and Z, and all of these things. And you get that FOMO, that fear of missing out. Well, if I do this one, I can't do this one. And one of the things for me to mature on this stuff is like, you got to just pick. You got to pick one and say sorry to the others. And that stinks, but that's reality. That's the adult world. So one thing I did in 2025 or 2024 last year is I announced a bunch of books because I was sincere and it was fun and this and that and the other. But now I'm realizing how much time these take to make. Um, I think I should do less books and better ones. You know what I mean? And not that there's anything wrong with the ones I'm doing. This is all like the potential for the future. Not that I've done any bad books. All the books I've done are outstanding. But I think if I did too many and too fast, they might not be good, right? So I think that for now, with the size crew I have, just a couple freelance guys I hire to help me out, and some colorist guys, some illustration guys. I'm still the letterer and writer for the company, but for the foreseeable future, at least this year and maybe next year, just do like 2 graphic novels, 120-page books, and even that might be a lot. Maybe we do one, I don't know, but just do 2 per year. Because I was thinking, I could do 4, I could do 6, and I can make them shorter. I could do 60-page books and do a bunch of books. And like, wait a minute, you just want to do like quantity? Like, let's do quality. So I'm glad I didn't actually do that, and it was just a thought. But I do think I'll stick with these longer books. What do you guys think? You like the longer books or the shorter books? I definitely prefer the longer books. I don't want to do shorter books because I feel like I'm hemmed in when I do those, and I have to not make compromises, but I have to cut things out of the story, and I have to abbreviate concepts to just move it along quickly because you only have 60 pages or whatever, and I don't want to do that. So it's just not how I'm writing right now. So you got anything for me, hon?
No, but I didn't know if you wanted to talk about the characters from
Characters from what?
Harry Potter.
Oh, well, what about it? I saw that. I don't like Harry Potter. I think I'm too old for it. I'm 46. I'm a Gen X. I know a lot of people my age do like it, but I never got into it. I never read those books. I know it was the be all end all. In 2001, it was just that people couldn't stop talking about it. The movie's coming out, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, I'll bite. And we went to the movie theater. I don't know if you went or I just went with Abe or something, but I went to I think it was the Carmike Cinema in Greeley there on 10th. And it was in the winter, I believe, because it was freezing. And I think the heater inside the movie theater had broken. So I was miserable, like cold. Like I just remember freezing my butt off watching this movie and really not liking it. Really like, what the hell is this? I don't care about this. These stupid kids. So I have a pretty negative impression of Harry Potter. I don't like it. I think it's very like I think Star Trek is nerdy. I think Harry Potter's worse. I think Harry Potter's like the ultimate nerd thing. So I don't know. Their amusement park stuff looks really cool, except for the part where, like I said, I don't like Harry Potter. But that stuff they have at Universal, I've never been to it, but it does look amazing in its quality, and I'm a huge fan of that. Can I talk about that, Disney adults? Can I talk about this for a minute? This bothers me a lot. As you guys can see, you're watching, I'm a very creative person. I love creating art, writing stories, building model airplanes. I loved building the Warhammer 40,000 stuff, endless things with Legos. And when I would play toys as a child, it wasn't just bang, bang. It was like a total narrative and betrayals and evil twins and, drama. And I always love creating. And I love, unapologetically, I love Disneyland. I do. But the Disney adults are a menace because I don't want to get lumped in with them. I'm not a weirdo. I am married. I have kids. I own a business. And I'm not going to Disneyland for the reason that Disney weirdo adults are going. And I'm not trying to be mean. It's just a little weird. And I go to Disneyland to look up and stare in awe at the haunted house and the Pirates of the Caribbean and stuff like that. The same feelings you get when you go to a museum. I mean, the stuff at Disneyland, those worlds, those buildings, it truly is art. It's not like a gimmick or anything. It actually is fine art. It's beautiful art. And to be able to create worlds like that, to me, is so inspiring. So the Disney adult thing is a little weird because it's like, I didn't know people did this. When I was growing up, the way we did Disneyland was once a year. We didn't have any money. My mom was a single mother and married a few times, but we didn't do badly, but we didn't have a lot of extra money when I was little. But I had an uncle who was an attorney, Uncle Dave, and he was a character. And imagine if Donald Trump was a fat lawyer, a fat Mexican lawyer. That's Uncle Dave. And Uncle Dave had a few bucks, and he'd come from Colorado to visit us in California, visit his sisters. My mom and my aunt both lived here with, we lived here. And he would take everyone to Disneyland, 10, 15 people, because he had the money for it and he wanted to be nice to us. And we would go once a year. So I had a very specific experience with Disneyland as a kid. And I remember being like about a fourth or fifth grader, walking right by the where the Matterhorn is and the submarines and all that are. And I think I turned to my brother or my uncle or someone and said, wow, this really is the happiest place on earth. Because I was just taken by the artwork. I thought it was just so amazing and beautiful, all the buildings and all that. So I had a very specific experience with Disneyland where it was an event. It was once a year. It was get up early, 5, 6 in the morning. I mean, it's only an hour from San Diego, but still get up very early, drive up there, be there before it opens when they cut the rope. They cut the rope every morning. It's the rope drop thing. And we wouldn't stay late because we were all exhausted by, 3, 4, 5 in the afternoon. So we'd never stay for the fireworks or the parade. And to this day, I don't like to do that. I think it's because that's the way we did it. You know what I mean? The way you do things the first time in your life is kind of how you think they're supposed to be done. But anyway, Disneyland was a treat. It was very special. It was once a year. It was awesome. And I found out later that people who live in LA and Southern California, some of them, they would get this yearly pass. So they could go like 200 and something days a year. There are days blacked out where Disneyland wants to sell tickets, the very important days, I guess, on the calendar. But these people can go hundreds of days a year, and they do. And I remember when I worked at DC Comics, some of the people said, oh, we're going to meet up at 4 p.m. at Disneyland. And it was so like, to me, like, what do you mean you're going to get to Disneyland at 4? Like, that's when we would leave when I was a kid. And I guess my bottom line is the Disney adult thing is like, there are people that have passes and they go all the time. And to me, I love a good ribeye, right? You give me a dry-aged ribeye, bone-in. I wouldn't eat that every meal. I would not eat that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You'd hate it. You would hate it. And I feel that way about something like Disneyland. I could be wrong. Again, this is just my childhood experience with it. But I feel like if you went to Disneyland all the time, or you went there for just a few hours to get a snack and ride like your favorite ride or two and then leave because you got this pass, I feel like it's too much. Like you shouldn't have what you want all the time. You're going to burn out the pleasure receptors in your brain. I don't know.
Right.
So that's kind of where I am on the Disney adult thing. It kind of confuses me. Like, why would you want to do this thing you want to do all the time? It's like that. It's not fun anymore. So I don't know. It's fun when you go to Disneyland once a year, maybe twice a year. You're building up an anticipation, and we're going in a month and this and that. I don't know. I think to go 5 times a month it'd feel like a chore. I don't know. I don't think I'd like it. So
yeah, Grant says you need to take out a mortgage to take a family to Disneyland.
Yeah, we went recently, but only because there was a Southern California pass. So regularly Disneyland is like currently it's $150 or $175 per person per day. Plus they want you to pay $30 so you can do that line thing where you can schedule when you show up to the line. Magic Pass. I don't know what the hell it is. That's $200 a person. Family of 4, $200. That's $800 for tickets. Let's just say you spend $200 on meals. If you had to get a hotel, I don't. I live an hour from Disneyland, whatever, hour and a half. I don't need a hotel, but many people do. You're talking just going to Disneyland for the day, $2,000. That's insane. That's insane. That's stupid. That's not family friendly. And if Disney was anything, it is currently no longer. If it was anything, it was family friendly. That was kind of the whole point there with Walter Elias Disney. But again, yeah, I'm not a fan of going to Disneyland too much. That's weird. But they did sell us the Southern California resident pass. It was like $65, but you had to buy 3. It was the 3-pack. So it was like $180, but they gave you 3 tickets that you had to use like in 2-3 months or something like that.
Between January and May.
Oh, January and May. Oh, okay. So it was like 4 or 5 months.
We just bought it.
Oh, we bought it late. Yeah. So I did, to contradict myself extremely, I did go to Disneyland 3 times in the last like 2 months. I didn't want to, but I bought the tickets. So, but the good thing about that, I guess, is when you're taking a little one, you're taking a granddaughter, you don't have to stay all day because they can only really ride the kids' rides anyway. So,
and she was free.
And yeah, she was free to go. So, there's a great restaurant hidden there at Disneyland that we love. That's where we eat lunch every time we're there, and it's not very expensive. My wife and I, we can get out of there for $40. It's the Craftsman Bar and Grill. It's at the hotel, that like Wilderness Lodge themed hotel, the Grand Californian or whatever the hell they call it. It's an it's hotel food is good if it's a good hotel, not a not a Motel 6, but a decent hotel always has good food. And this has a good little cafe there right by the swimming pool. So we mosey over there at lunch and get the big nachos and all that. So, but it was fun to take a little one about 2.5 years old.
This is crazy. Grant Ross has said that in 2017 he spent $11,000 to take his brother and his kids and his parents to Disney. And he said Disney, not Disney World. Disney for 5 days.
To Disney. So he lives back east somewhere, clearly. That is a divide, much like the freeway. Like people east of here, California, they say I-25 and I-80 and when they're talking about the highways, and we say the in California. And I found out why. Before the interstate system happened in the 50s, it was the Hollywood freeway, the Mulholland, the locals in LA and all that would call it the whatever it was. So then when they changed the names of all those roads to be the interstate system and then built new ones, the tradition of saying the continued. So that's why we say the 5, the 805, the 15. And that's another thing about the East Coast people that I notice is they say Disney, that we're going to Disney, which boggles my mind. You're going to Disney World, right? I really like the Animal Kingdom place there. I thought that was great. So we went, my wife and I went to Disney 4 years ago. And it was just such a great trip. It was our wedding anniversary. We went on to Costco Travel. You got to use Costco Travel. They save you so much money. Went on to Costco Travel and got like plane tickets from San Diego to Orlando and a rent-a-car while we were in Orlando and a condo, like a 2-bedroom or a bedroom it had a living room and a kitchen and it even had a laundry machine. It had everything. And it was at this really nice complex near Disney World. All this stuff for like $2,500 or something. But it was in the middle of the lockdowns. And if you remember, for reasons I won't talk about on YouTube, many flights were being canceled for a few months there. Do you remember that? I do. So I told my wife, we cannot fly because I'm not getting stuck on a layover in Houston and not making it to Disney World and all the stuff we want to go see. So we canceled the plane tickets. They gave us credit and we upped the rent-a-car. We took the rent-a-car from San Diego. We drove from San Diego, California to Orlando, Florida. So we drove from coast to coast because we actually one day when we were there, we didn't go to any of the Disney parks and we went to the beach on the east coast of Florida. So we went all the way from the west coast to the east coast. That was pretty cool. So, and we both, at least for me, and I think my wife agrees, loved the South. It was in November, so the weather was perfect, but I absolutely loved it. Thought it was very charming, beautiful. It was so different than where we live. The greenery, the trees. It was a really thrill to be driving on that. I think it's the 10, and to see that one highway sign that said "Sweet Home Alabama."
Right.
It's like I thought that was just a song. I didn't know that was a thing.
You're entering the state.
Yeah. So, but yeah, loved the South. Thought it was great. Loved the food. They, I don't know how they're not all the fattest people in the universe. That is some rich food down there. But I thought that Disney World was a pretty cool place. Didn't know what to think. I was a little bit of a, California snob. Like, hey, the real Disneyland is in Anaheim, California. Like, we'll see what this Florida thing's all about. But I was pleasantly surprised. It was weird to be at Disney World. It did feel like, well, that's not right. The Haunted Mansion's not here. Why is it over here? And the Haunted Mansion looks different. Like that was a little confusing. Did you feel that way? Like, huh?
Yeah, and they were at different worlds too. We're here at Disneyland. Everything is at Disneyland.
Right.
So you had to enter a different park to go.
Right, that's true. Because the Star Wars stuff is at Disneyland here, and over there it's the Hollywood Studio, I believe. So.
And then Animal Kingdom had
Avatar. Animal Kingdom had that really fun roller coaster that was like the Yeti like in Nepal or like you're in the Himalayan mountains or whatever. That I thought that was a really fun ride. That was
and the rock and roll one.
The rock and roller coaster. They're shutting that down and remodeling that into Muppets, I think. So they're going to get rid of Aerosmith on that and make it Muppets, which is pretty cool. That's cool. I'm not a fan of Aerosmith anyway.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to drive down there. Neither of us had ever really seen the South,
No, never.
and the amount of shrubbery and greenery
Yeah,
everywhere is crazy. It's like the cities are fighting nature to exist.
right. Yeah, just those highways in Louisiana. When you leave Texas and you go into Louisiana, it was just trees, endless, like 30 feet on each side of the highway, just trees. It was like driving down a corridor.
Yeah,
So
and it reminded me of that movie or that show we had seen.
True Detective.
Yes,
Well, there's a reason for that.
right. But I had never seen it before,
Oh.
so it was interesting to see because every once in a while, when you're driving down the highway, you would see like a house like nestled in the trees, but if you weren't looking right at it, you would completely miss it.
Right.
And I thought that was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really interesting to see. I was talking to my daughter yesterday. She's for the audience. Obviously, I don't say my daughter when I talk to my wife, but she's a stand-up comic. She's doing really good. I couldn't be more proud of her. She's been hired at the Comedy Store. That's the world famous Comedy Store. I mean, that's the club, right? That's Jerry Seinfeld and Richard Pryor and everybody there in Hollywood. She works at the second Comedy Store here in San Diego. But I was talking to her, I was saying, I hope that wokeness is just like, okay, let this be over. We can get back to regular television and movies as we had for decades. And, she can do some TV and all that too. And she was like, oh, well, I don't want to just do TV. I love doing stand. I said, no, you can do it in addition to, like, just sometimes. It's good. It's a good paycheck and this and that. So I know that the people in Hollywood, they batten down the hatches and they're resisting Trump, right? They're resisting the dictator who's destroying freedom, destroying the Constitution. And honey, I was telling you last night, like, after 10 years of Trump being in politics like this, if you still believe the Trump stuff, you're actually an idiot. I'm sorry. It's like I can see being fooled. I've been fooled. Everybody's been fooled. At this point, it's willful. What's your problem? Like at this point, you've seen they lie about him. They try and just destroy the government. They try and destroy freedom for everyone and money and push their agenda and have their fake wars and all their bullshit. If you can't see it at this point, you don't want to ever see it. So
yeah,
good luck.
I think that's true.
It's like the people alone in their cars with a mask on. Good luck.
My sister sent a picture in a group chat I'm in of someone like on their lunch break or something, sitting out on a ledge. I don't know, some cement block or something. They're sitting there looking at their phone with a mask on, and they're all alone. There's nobody else in this picture. Take a picture of them from their car and send it to us.
I saw a guy. It was a post. Someone posted it to Twitter, but it was a screenshot from Reddit. And the guy was saying him and his wife have been isolating since 2020, and this was a post from like 3 weeks ago. And he wasn't sure what to do, and they'd missed out on the birth of his nephew, and this wedding, and that funeral, and this. They're missing out on everything.
On life.
Yeah, missing out on life. It's a little ironic that you're trying to extend your life by not living your life. You want to think about that? Like, chew on that one for a minute. These people had been locked down and isolating since 2020 till now, over 5 years now. To me, that is unaddressed mental illness. That is that's an anxiety disorder that needs to be questioned, needs to be challenged.
Yeah.
That's something else.
None the miser, I don't know what he was referring to, but he said the kudzu wars.
Kudzu wars. Kudzu is an invasive plant species that's there in the South.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
So, speaking of wars, this Thursday night on Double Impact with Jericho and myself, we are going to go to a galaxy far, far away. A long time ago, we are actually going to do it. One of the biggest movie of all time, in my opinion, Star Wars. We're going to do the first one because the 48th anniversary of Star Wars was last week. So we're gonna get into it. I know that movie backwards and forwards. I've probably seen that movie growing up 50 times, maybe more. I would watch it all the time. So
Grant Rocha said that the roller coaster we're talking about is Expedition Everest.
that's it. Yeah, I thought that was great, that one.
I really like that one.
I'm glad I got over my irrational fear of roller coasters before we went there. Because then I couldn't have gone on Everest or Rock and Coaster. So, guys, I don't have phobias. Like, I ride on an airplane. I'm not afraid of like dogs. I'm not like heights, nothing. Until I was 42, I would not get on a roller coaster that went upside down. I can't explain it either. I don't know. Scared of them. Didn't like it since I was a little kid. Didn't like. I didn't even get on Space Mountain, which is nothing. On a scale of 1 to 10, Space Mountain is like -83. I didn't even get on that till eighth grade, and I only got on Space Mountain in eighth grade because we went as a class, my middle school graduating class, and all the girls are there. You don't want to be the guy like, oh, I don't want to go. So I got on Space Mountain at Disneyland. I was like, that's it, that's it. But in 2020 or 2021, I was at Disney California Adventure, and I'd been there in the past, and I didn't get on the Incredicoaster. Like my wife and kids did, and I didn't. Like, there's something about it, the anxiety, that something really bothered me. And I was just, always trying to change myself and improve myself. And in I think it was 2021, I just said, I said, you can't do this. You cannot live this way. This is insane. And I just got on it, and it was nothing. And I really like it actually. I think I wrote it like 3 or 4 times that day, or I went with my cousin on her birthday, sort of like Disney adults. We didn't bring any kids with us. But that's what she wanted to do. My cousin, she was turning like 36. And I think I wrote it like 3 or 4 times that day. It's a fun ride. It's not scary at all. And I couldn't explain it to you. I'd probably have to sit on some shrink's couch and unstable childhood and blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. I just whatever. Something was wrong. I didn't like roller coasters. It really bothered me, but not anymore. So I'm glad. I'm glad I got that out of the way before I went to Disney World, so I could ride them there, because the rocking coaster goes upside down. And I think Expedition Everest with the monster, the Yeti. I think we went upside down, but it was so dark I couldn't tell you. We might have just done a really extreme like side angle, sort of halfway upside down. I couldn't tell you. It was pitch black in there. But I wouldn't have done that 10 years ago. It would have been like, no, I'll wait for you out here. But the postscript on that, it's hilarious to me. And of course, it's something that a person like me would do. So I get off the Incredicoaster the first day. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling 10 feet tall. I'm like, good, you got over this bullshit. I don't even know what you were afraid of. And when I get out, there's a kid, 10, 11 years old boy. And he's standing outside the ride waiting. And behind me come about 3 or 4 teenagers. It must be his brothers, friends. And he's like, was it cool? Was it scary? Did you like it? And they're like, oh man, it was awesome. This, that, and the other. And I'm like, oh, he's doing what I used to do. This kid. I said, now's your chance to make it right, Gabe. That's what I told myself. So they're talking, these boys, these middle school, high school boys, they're talking. And I interrupted. I said, hey, hey, hey. And I look at the kid who was too afraid to go with his brothers on the ride. I said, listen, I'm 42 years old at the time. I said, I'm 42. I wasted my whole life not going on these rides because I was afraid. I just went on it for the first time. I said, don't be like me. Get on the ride. Nothing's going to happen. You're not going to be scared. If I could go back and talk to me when I was your age, this is what I'd tell them. So I'm telling you now. They looked at me like I was insane, and they didn't say anything. So there you go. But hopefully I helped them out.
Then the miser says, that abounds excited about Star Wars on Thursday. I'll spread the word around my side, please.
Oh, good. Around the cantina, huh?
Let's see. Earlier when we were talking about the movies, let me see here. Sorry. Grant Rasha said that he stopped going to the theater years ago. The quality of movies has really gone downhill. We don't really go to the movies that often.
Isn't that terrible? What's better than going to a great movie, getting the popcorn, the soda, the movie's fun, and all? Isn't that terrible that movies are dead?
It's awful.
I mean, it's such a piece of Americana. The movie theater I like to go to, it's shut down. It's shut down to go to a different theater now.
Yeah, I don't know where we're going to go.
And also those modern idiot theaters where they serve you like a full meal. There's waitresses. You're getting like, fettuccine alfredo. What would you just eat before the movie or after? I don't need your waitress in the middle of like the third act. What are we doing with these theaters with the full meal? Ugh.
This is something interesting that Grant Rochester said. For anyone that's a first responder, like military, firefighter, police officer, teacher, EMT, nurses. Margaritaville at Sea offers free cruises, inside room only, and you pay the cabin tax.
Wow. Margaritaville has one of the biggest fumbles I've ever seen in marketing history. Margaritaville, rest in peace, Jimmy Buffett, cheeseburger in paradise. Margaritaville cruise ships. They have a buffet on the ship. I saw a YouTube video of a guy who went on the Margaritaville ship. And they have a buffet, as all ships have a buffet. And the buffet was called, Buffet in Paradise or Margaritaville Buffet. His name is Jimmy Buffett. Why isn't it the Jimmy Buffet?
Yeah, they dropped the ball.
That is a fumble all time. That is Leon Lett fumbling the touchdown in 1994 in the Super Bowl. That I can't believe it's not called the Jimmy Buffet. I should actually write them a letter. Dear people who own this boat, this cruise line, please change the name of your buffet to the Jimmy Buffet. I don't know how you didn't see this, but it's hilarious. I don't know. They missed it somehow. But that's good information, Grant, that first responders, you say, and did you say veterans or just first responders?
Military also.
It's cool.
Teacher, EMT, nurses.
Okay. I noticed they don't do it for comic book artists. Huh. Okay.
What else? Oh, well, just going back to the Harry Potter movie and the characters, new characters obviously have to be cast. Everyone's gotten old, especially in particular the kids. But everyone's outraged, of course, about Snape, sorry.
Snoke was the evil Jedi Master in the new Star Wars movies that didn't go anywhere, his character.
Oh.
Like, who is he? Like, we don't know.
Okay.
And then they killed him. Snape. What's wrong with Snape? It's a good name. Sounds like a bad
guy. Well, he was swapped with a black actor.
Oh.
I don't know the actor's name. I'm not.
Yeah.
Hate on any actors, but someone pointed out that in particular in the book, it describes him as sallow and pale. Which I thought.
I've met a lot of black people. I've never met a pale black person. Just saying.
So I thought that was funny. And apparently there's, I've seen a few comments about, is it Hermione?
Hermione Granger. I don't know Harry Potter very well, but I know there's a girl named Hermione.
Yeah.
Is she Harry Potter's girlfriend or the other guy's girlfriend? I don't know. I don't know how it works.
But they're upset about the girl who's playing her, and I imagine she looks like she almost looks like a tan Spanish person.
Oh.
I have no idea. So I don't know the description of Hermione in the books, but the new Hermione does not look like the old Hermione, except for maybe the hair.
Okay.
And the hair texture, not the hair color. So whatever the description is for her, no idea, but looks like there's an uproar about her. I've only watched, I think, one or two of these movies. Back when you worked at Wildstorm, they sent us one in the mail.
Oh, that's right. When I worked for DC Comics, we would get free DVDs in the mail occasionally. They sent me Inception. Just you'd open your mail and randomly there'd be a DVD from Warner Brothers.
I always thought that was odd.
Yeah. Yeah, I got Inception and a couple Harry Potter movies and probably some other stuff. So, I don't know. It's interesting.
As far as Grant calling Disney World Disney, he lives in Syracuse or Easton.
Well, there you go. Yeah, Grant, no one out here calls it Disney. We call it Disney World and Disneyland.
Yeah.
And it is very weird to us to hear people call it Disney.
I have a friend that calls it Disney, and I always tell her, you mean Disneyland? Because she goes back to Florida like once or twice a year. So I honestly don't know which Disney park she's talking about. Like, don't call it Disney.
I want to go to the one in Japan, the Disney Sea. They say that's the best one. They're going to open one in Dubai, is what I heard. How's that going to work in 120-degree weather? It's going to be an indoor Disneyland? I don't know about that. That seems like a challenge. They already have like Warner Brothers World in Dubai, I believe, and I think it's all indoors. You know, so I suppose that's what they'll do.
I would imagine you would have to, but that would be a huge building.
I think it's multiple buildings, and obviously they're not going to have a 300-foot tall castle inside of a building, would they? I don't know.
I was imagining it like a football stadium.
Yeah, that's like the thing at Circus in Vegas, right? They have that big football, like that big purple adventure dome.
Oh yeah, but I believe there's a small one.
Did you ever take the kids there? I think you told me you took the kids there once.
I did.
Where the hell was I? Was I sleeping in the room? Or?
I don't know, but I think it was there. And I gave them, I think, each $20, which was like a big budget for us at the time.
Right.
And we had we had coupons that were like half price games or buy one game, get another game free. And they just had a blast and thought they were like millionaires playing at the.
Oh, I remember the first time Peter, our son, thought he was a millionaire. So it was Christmas of, what year would that have been with the View Go? Like 2005, 6, something like that. So he was, 6, 7 years old. And I saw an ad on children's television where they were watching PBS or something. It was a little device. It's like 2005, 2006, called a View Go. And it was a little video player. It had a little color screen on it and it could play videos, but it had RCA cable jacks on it. So you could connect it to the TV and record TV. You could connect it to computers and download movies and this, that, and the other. And as an artist, I always had Macintosh computers, right? Because any artist who's a professional has a Mac and doesn't have a PC, because they just work better. And I got him this View Go. It's $130, which might as well have been $1 million back then. We didn't have any money back then. And he opens it on Christmas, and I look closely at the package. I guess I didn't look at it when I bought it. And it says Macintosh support coming. So I now have this useless video recorder and player. But anyway, we take it to Walmart the day after Christmas, and I'm all ready to fight with the cashier. Okay, I bought this thing. Yes, I opened it. No, it doesn't work for our purposes. I don't have a receipt, blah, 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 blah. I'm ready to fight. I'm walking through the parking lot. I go inside. I tell the lady, I need to return this. I need my money back. Just hands me the money. You ever get all amped up for a fight and then it doesn't even happen? I'm ready to argue with this lady. She's like, okay, here's your money. And I gave my, 6, 7-year-old son his $130. And he thought he was a billionaire.
Yeah.
And he bought a bunch of toys and bought other stuff. So.
Didn't he buy the Planet of the Apes?
No, it was the Peter Jackson King Kong movie had just come out. So he bought a big play set of King Kong.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other crap. So
he thought he was balling with that money.
Yeah, $130. Cold hard cash in his hand. That's a 7-year-old.
Right.
Do you remember getting as a kid like a $20 bill? I think I got a $50 bill once or twice as like a 10-year-old. I thought I was a millionaire.
Let's see. Courtney. It's Courtney's Fellowship of Oddballs. It's hi Gabe. Hi chat.
Hello, Courtney.
She also said that was a good King Kong.
It was good, but I only ever remember the scene when they're sort of in the swamp with those disgusting like worms, and the worms eat the people. And the worms, the worms are like bigger than people, and they have those big lamprey like fang mouths, and it swallows that guy's head and then slowly keeps swallowing. So disgusting. So disgusting. Really gross.
Going back to the theme park, Grant Rosh says Action Park was named the most dangerous amusement park. YouTube has videos of the rides and accidents.
Is that the Warner Brother Park in Dubai? Is that what that is, or what is Action Park?
I don't know what Action Park is.
Huh.
Maybe he'll clarify.
Yeah.
Courtney says that her grandma always gave us the amount of money as our age of until age 21 for Christmas. Then no more.
Oh, wow.
We had to stop giving the adults Christmas presents on Christmas in our family, my side of the family, because the number of adults got out of control, adult grandchildren and nieces and nephews. So now it's just the little ones, and it gives us all a little break on Christmas.
I can't believe, you're speaking of Christmas already. It's like, geez, this year's already halfway over almost. And I got a thing on Twitter today from the NFL. It said 100 days until the kickoff. Are you kidding me already? Jeez. But yeah, here we are. What, in a couple days it'll be June, right? Like this weekend?
Right.
Yeah. Memorial Day always feels like the beginning of summer,
It does.
Even
Especially if you start at the beach.
Right. That was a picturesque day here in San Diego. It was a perfect day. Perfect weather, nice and relaxing. Temperatures in the high 60s, low 70s. Blue skies. Very nice.
Courtney said that when you're talking about the King Kong movie, Peter Jackson is good at disgusting movies. He did do the movie Dead or Alive, or Brain Dead, as they called it in Australia.
Oh, yeah, I think I heard that. Yeah, that he did some pretty gory stuff. Yeah. I don't really remember the King Kong movie. I just remember these disgusting worms eating people. So gross. I don't remember if I liked that movie or not. I don't like Warner Brothers has all that, the King Kong stuff. And I really want to like Godzilla and all that. And I've seen the new Godzilla and King Kong movies, and they just leave me feeling like it's okay. I don't know. The Godzilla made by the Japanese company last year that won an Oscar or whatever, that one, Godzilla -1 or -0 or whatever that was called, that was outstanding, that movie. Do you remember that one, Adrian?
Mm-hmm. That was a good movie.
Yeah, the Warner Brothers ones are like, they're weird. They're like video games. I didn't see the last one where King Kong and Godzilla, and he's got like a power fist that he's wearing, and they're what? What? Yeah, King Kong's running around with a giant robo fist, and he's punching everybody.
He has his own big fist.
Nope, he's got a robo fist. I think honestly, they might have done that for marketing. Like, if we make this fist, we could sell 1 million of these as toys.
Like the Hulk hands.
Yeah, like the Hulk hands.
Another toy, Peter.
Right. That's a good idea for a toy, the Hulk hands. That's smart. Yeah. Smart, whoever came up with that. So, but yeah, the Warner Brothers King Kong is kind of stupid. And their Godzilla stuff is just who cares? I remember finding out when I was a little kid that Godzilla had a son named Gadzuki. And it was real weird to me, but it kind of made sense. Like, I suppose he would have a kid. And I thought it was interesting that instead of shooting like fire breath like a dragon, Gadzuki shot like a fire donut out of his mouth. It's like a blue ring would come out of his mouth. And I would watch this stuff on Saturday afternoons with my brother.
Was he a baby? Is that one?
Yeah, he was a little Godzilla. He was Gadzuki.
Courtney says Dead or Alive is a zombie flick and has the famous quote, "I kick ass for Jesus."
I've never heard of this movie.
Neither.
I don't know this one. She said it was Australian, the movie?
Well, it was called something different in Australia.
Well, because we know Peter Jackson is a New Zealander.
Oh, well, that would make sense.
Right. Is that the most remote place on Earth, New Zealand? Right?
I think so.
It's just like far away from everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. Would I want to go there? It would take forever to get there, right?
Your friend went there.
Who's my friend?
Your lifelong friend.
I don't remember. Oh. He's not a secret agent. Say his name. Not protecting his identity. He went to New Zealand?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. He goes all over.
Him and his whole family.
Oh.
One of their crazy trips.
I don't know. I'm interested, obviously, in a lot more travel, as I've said, but I also like just being home. It's nothing like your house. Mexico City, we went there a couple weeks ago. It was great, but when we got home, I was very glad to be home. You know.
Yeah. I like to travel. I think because I never really went anywhere as a kid.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't really travel either. Still never left the country besides Mexico. Never been to any other country.
Right? Me either. So do you want to hear a news story?
Yeah, I'll hear one. Go for it.
I don't know all the details, but it sounds like the CDC dropped the COVID vaccine from the schedule for kids, healthy kids and pregnant women from their vaccine. I don't know, schedule of vaccines.
Well, since this is YouTube, we can't talk about that.
Oh.
I guess you can mention the headline, but I'm not going to go into it because this is YouTube. So, okay, that's news.
Well, that was the news.
That happened in the news, and I'm not going to talk about it on this YouTube because you know how they are. So you can mention that it happened. It's just a factual piece of news. But I have no opinion about that I will share on here. I sure don't. No, it's fine. It's fine. Just, you know how they are.
Yeah. So, when you're looking through X and seeing what's trending, because I don't watch the news and I'm not up to date on a lot of stuff, sometimes the things that are trending, I have no idea what it means, but it's funny to me because this one is Shabuzi. Shabuze, I don't know.
Shabuzi, I don't know who that is.
Trending in music.
But they sang at the Super Bowl. That's all I know. And if I could be an old man yelling at the sky for a minute, I don't watch the halftime show. I purposefully mute the TV or turn it off until halftime is over. I hate the halftime show. It shouldn't exist. We're trying to watch a football game, and also the commercials. Lame. Don't want the commercials. They're not funny. They're stupid. The whole thing. If it's not football, I don't want to see it on there. So I would prefer, but my family objects, so I don't do it. But I did it a few times. They didn't like it. I would prefer to not watch the Super Bowl when it was on, record it on the DVR back when I had a DVR, and then watch the Super Bowl after the Super Bowl is over and fast forward all the commercials. That is how I would prefer to watch the Super Bowl. Pure football, no halftime, no commercials. Hate it. But I know Shabuzi is a singer because they mentioned him, I think, at the Super Bowl. That's all I know.
Well, I don't enjoy the commercials either, but I do like it like when we were kids and there was no DVR or skipping through commercials. That's when you ran to go grab a snack or go to the bathroom. And so that's what I use the commercials for. Let's see. I'm not sure how this. Oh, Grant is saying, I think as you were talking about, never been gone outside the country besides Mexico City. Says Colombia has beautiful weather, but Peru has delicious food.
Yeah, wouldn't know, but I'll take your word for it. I'll get there one day.
I think Peru is the one that has the empanadas. And I had a friend who she made them once and they were actually pretty good.
We ate at a Peruvian restaurant here in San Diego. One of your friends, it may have been the same person that recommended it or something.
Oh, in PB?
Yeah, I remember eating a dish called lomo saltado, and it had Asian influences. It was like meat and stuff and all that, but then there was a little soy sauce added to it. And I guess it was a semi-popular or regular dish in Peruvian cuisine. But I remember it was called lomo saltado.
We also had those empanadas at the mall.
Were those Peruvian?
Well, that's what I was about to say. I don't know if that was meant to be Peruvian or not, but it's an empanada place.
There was a Peruvian restaurant there in PB.
Yeah, we did.
Did we eat there?
I don't know if we went there.
Oh.
And then Grant also says, I gave up on sports when they all went political. That is just more time to spend with friends and family.
Yeah, my brother says that. I don't watch sports either anymore, except for football. And football is a touchstone for me, obviously being such a great influence on my life. And my son, who played football and did so well and won championships. But we don't sit there and do what I did years ago, watching 7 hours of football on a Sunday. I realize what a psyop that is. It's to make you numb and hypnotized and not effective. And so you won't stand up to the people who are abusing all of us and taking advantage of all of us. They'll just keep you occupied arguing about the latest draft pick or whatever. But the way I watched football for a long time was I had the NFL app for $100 a year, and it has the games recorded. So you go out, you enjoy your Sunday, you do whatever, and then at night you nestle in on the couch and you can watch a 3.5 hour football game in 45 minutes. They take out all the timeouts, all the injuries, all the penalties, all the commercials. All of it's gone. It's just football, 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 35, 45 minutes. It's a great way to not waste your day, and you can still keep up with your team if you love it. But I quit watching basketball. I got into baseball like 20 years ago. For a couple of years, I liked watching baseball. But I was a sports fanatic forever. And I just realized, oh, they're just sapping your strength. They're distracting you with this stuff. And you should really just be on your mission. There's nothing wrong with watching the big game or bonding with people over it. But I think making sports the main focus and hobby for men is a bad idea. I think participating in sports is outstanding because of the discipline and all the stuff and the health benefits and all that, but mostly the mental discipline and all that it teaches you. I think you should do sports, sure, but to just be sitting there. I mean, I haven't watched ESPN probably in a decade or more. And all I see, like clips on Twitter, controversial, is just the most woke feminist shit ever. Of course, it's Disney, right? So, and the UFC I like pretty good, but even that I don't watch as much as I was watching during the lockdown and all that. I really got into the UFC during the lockdown. And we'll watch it every Saturday and have big things in my house. And now I'll watch the UFC like 4 or 5 times a year, the biggest fights. But it is fun to go to Vegas and go to the fights for the UFC. That is fun. I'll do that again for sure. So, but yeah, sports, that's to sap your strength. That's to distract you and get you off your mission, man. They don't want you effective. And I hear you on that. Like, I can't stand the NBA because of LeBron and guys like that. All these race hustler jerks. Like, nah, no thanks. No thanks. And I mean, the product sucks. The WNBA sucks, right? The women, they're not good at basketball. They're relatively good for women, but the fact that the men exist means I can't watch the women play basketball because it's like watching people play in slow motion. But it is, I don't care because I don't like the WNBA, but it's infuriating, the blatant racism against that white girl that's their best player they've ever had. They're so dumb too. They have a star player that is like the greatest player they ever had, probably will ever have, and they all shit on her and attack her. It's like, you realize the marketing you could do with this woman, right? You're just all mad because she's white. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. It's kind of the Jokic.
Right. Jokic in the NBA, he should be the MVP 5 years in a row, but he's white. So they always find any nitpick excuse to try and give it to someone else. So, yeah, the blatant racism in the NBA and the WNBA is just a complete turnoff. So,
yeah. Grant said, donate Qui in Peru. It's guinea pig.
I was going to say, I saw a Travel Channel thing, Anthony Bourdain, and they were eating hedgehogs or guinea pigs or some little rodent like that. They were barbecuing them on a stick. It looked horrible.
That's sad.
Okay.
Courtney says, I love football. I just wish it went faster in general. So I hear you, Gabe, even though I watched the halftime show, but I'm a musician and I like to see what's up.
Oh. All right. Well,
Courtney of the possible brother's ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, are you my brother's ex-girlfriend? My brother dated a woman, Courtney, in Colorado in the last few years. And are you, in fact, my brother's ex-girlfriend?
Grant Rasha says the NBA gives 40 to 50 million for the WNBA to function. The WNBA players want NBA money. If the NBA didn't give up that money, the WNBA wouldn't exist.
Right. Yeah, it's never made a profit. It's just not interesting. Sorry. One thing I said for years, since they're women, just lower the rim to 8 feet so some of them can dunk.
Right.
But then I thought, no, I don't want to see women dunking. That's gross. Do you really want to see a woman going, ugh, like slamming a ball? Like, that's gross.
I don't think there's anything wrong with the WNBA, but
I do. They suck at basketball compared to the men.
But I think they need to be honest about who they are. They are the best women who play basketball. They are not the best basketball players. And I agree. I don't think anybody wants to watch it and to demand NBA money when nobody's watching it.
I hope the NBA gives them the money.
They
put themselves out of business. Give it to them, stupid. Yeah, go ahead, give it to them.
Courtney says Dr. J was my basket coach as a kid, and Charles Barkley goes to the local Wawa here, or where I grew up.
Oh, wow.
My mom is pals with him.
The round mound of rebound. Charles Barkley was my favorite player in like 92, 93 when I was a middle schooler and entering high school. Loved Charles Barkley because of the way he played. The old NBA guys would play real rough and mean. A lot of fouls, a lot of elbows. You know, Nike even made a shirt for, was it Derek Mason or Charles Barkley? And it said, like, keep your elbows up on the shirt. Derek Mason had a commercial for Nike. He said, you got 6 fouls, use them. You know, that was basketball when they were tough guys, you know.
Even back then, my mom would watch because she liked Michael Jordan.
Right.
And my mom is not into sports.
No.
It's funny, though, just speaking of the Wawa, we went to the first time we went to a Wawa was when we were on that trip to Florida.
Right, when we went to Disney World.
And we did get some food from there just to try it because we'd heard so much about it from the angry video game nerd.
Right, because he lives in Philly and they go to the Wawa.
Right.
I remember hearing Crystal told us about going to Publix and that their sub sandwiches were really good. And we went there and the sub sandwich was really good.
It's really good. Right?
And the chicken strips were really good at the Publix.
Which is kind of funny because chicken strips are usually good, but these were actually really good.
You know, a weird thing I found about going to the South was the grocery stores don't have Mexican food. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Weird.
What were we looking for?
I think we were looking for salsa or something like that. They just like didn't have anything.
Yeah, because I was making burritos for the morning.
Right. And they did not have, like here in California and most of probably at least the Western United States, there's a whole aisle of like Mexican food, you know, or at least half of an aisle filled with salsa, beans, and different spices. And it's specifically Mexican food. They say Hispanic.
I think when we went, there was a small section called ethnic food or something.
Well, I remember they had British food and Brazilian food.
So maybe that's more common there.
Yes, I don't know.
Just real quick, because it's almost time to go. Courtney said, this is in regards to being your brother's girlfriend. Considering I was with my ex-husband for 17 years until 2.5 years ago, I don't think I'm the same Courtney.
All right. Take your word for it.
Let's see.
Would be funny though.
Oh, this is crazy. Fun fact. Though Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, is in my graduating class.
Oh, I love Kobe Bryant. We were the same age. And I was just a huge Kobe Bryant fan. I think the greatest basketball players of all time, Michael Jordan, Nikola Jokic, and Kobe Bryant. I think those are the 3 greatest of all time. And I wouldn't even put LeBron in my top 10. That guy's a crybaby bitch. Hate him. No, the Magic's better than LeBron. Bill Russell's better than LeBron. I'd say Steph Curry's better than LeBron. Tim Duncan's better than LeBron. I'd rather have Shaq than LeBron. If you're starting a team right now, of course you'd rather have Shaq than LeBron. Get out of here.
Right.
No one's going to guard Shaq. No one's going to guard Hakeem. Remember, Shaq couldn't guard Hakeem as dominant as you think Shaq is. Hakeem kicked Shaq's ass in the finals. So, no, hate LeBron.
Grant says that, and I think he was talking about the WNBA, that they're better shooters, just not as flashy.
They're not better shooters than the men. They're just not. That's not even physically possible. They're good shooters for what they are. But you put up the women's teams against like high school all-star boys team,
Right.
the boys will kill them. And like, no, they're not better shooters than the men. That's not even true. Men, we know this. It's scientifically proven and studied, and you can just see it We have way better hand-eye coordination than women naturally, way faster reaction times naturally, and that cannot be practiced or improved. That's a wiring of the brain. Women cannot improve their reaction time to be as good or better than men. They just can't. So that's just a sex difference. So that's nothing against women. It's just, it's quite literally impossible. So, you know, I think women should be barefoot pregnant in the kitchen. Just kidding. But I wouldn't complain if they were. No, they want to play their little girl basketball. That's fine. Remember that thing we saw the other day that said about women voting? They should have the girl election. Do you remember that? And they can vote for Minnie Mouse or Hillary Clinton or whoever they want, and it doesn't really count. And they get stickers and flowers. And
it was embarrassing. All right. Well, Antonio's 707 said, "What up, Gabe in chat?"
Hey, how you doing, Antonio? Guys, everybody, thank you for all of you that were here today. I will be here Monday through Friday, 11 to noon, drawing away here. You're looking at me draw the unstoppable Tyrus. And how great is this, right? I love that he's cruising around in that old Chevy. And I'll be doing this 11 to noon Pacific time. You guys can come in, ask questions, watch me work on this comic that you're all going to love to buy in a few months. And we'll just have a good time here. But I need your help. You have to do something for me. You have to do it right now. On your phone in front of you, because you're probably watching on your phone. Click on the like. We got to get the likes, and we got to get the share. We got to give YouTube what they want, right? They'll help us grow the channel. YouTube will help us grow the channel, promote the videos, they'll do all the stuff if we play ball. The way we play ball is we have fun shows, and we share it out. So share it to Twitter, share it to Facebook, whatever you can do that right now, please. And I will see you guys tomorrow, 11 to noon Pacific. All right? Bye-bye.